will focus on a man named Kim who works as a police officer. However, because he suffers from bipolar disorder, which makes it difficult for him to control his emotions, he is eventually dismissed from the police force. It doesn't stop there. Conflict arises within his family, and his only child, Cece, becomes the victim of an accident after Kim is unable to control his emotions while they are driving. Because of that incident, Cece is forced to live with blindness after being struck by shards of car glass, while Jim's wife, Amoy, chooses to separate from him. 8 years later, Kim, who now works as an airport security officer, is assigned to protect the guest from his company. However, since the guest is unable to arrive that day, the mission is canceled and Kim is given a few days off. At the same time, the head of Hangyu Airlines, Ling Hae-yu, or simply Lee, is presenting the company's newest aircraft, the Airbus A380, which features 5-star hotel-like facilities and is about to make its maiden flight. Taking advantage of that opportunity, Amoy, who has just returned from abroad after taking Cece for medical treatment, chooses that aircraft in order to enjoy first-class facilities at an affordable price. At that moment, a message from Kim comes in, informing her that he will be on the same plane, and this is high force. It is clearly evident how magnificent this aircraft is, with a capacity to carry up to 800 passengers, making it the best choice in its class.
乘机，座位号在我们的机380，是不是特别大？而且飞机上还有 WiFi。
Kim is in economy class, while his wife and daughter are in first class. There, a passenger draws attention. A man named Zhang forbids the flight attendant from placing his bag in the overhead compartment.
我会放你，好吗？
Kim and his wife can only meet secretly on the stairs, since the economy class is located below first class. Because of this, they communicate by sending messages to each other on their phones. Kim, who misses his daughter dearly, asks Amoy about her condition, as it is known that Cece is very angry with him and no longer considers Kim to be her father. After that, Kim takes a sedative so that his bipolar disorder does not relapse. When everything is ready, the plane finally takes off. At that moment, CEO Lee, who is in his private room, receives a call from his manager, Kusoi. He then informs Lee that the company's finances are currently in trouble.
总数。
Back to the first-class passengers, at that moment, a long-haired man is seen hiding a firearm behind his meal tray. What is going on? Could he be connected to Chang and his mysterious bag? The scene shifts to Cece and her mother. At that moment, they are approached by some children who are playing with walkie-talkies. Intrigued by them, Cece eventually joins in and plays with the walkie-talkies as well.
现在立马过去侦查。小孩精力太好，长官新发给我的任务。
After having fun playing with the children, Cece invites her mother to walk around for a while. Seizing the opportunity, Amoy tells Kim to come and meet them. Kim's heart fills with happiness when he sees his beloved daughter smiling in front of him, even though he knows that deep down, Cece actually hates him.
试试。
After finishing his meeting with Cece, Kim heads back to his seat. However, at the bottom of the stairs, he finds a walkie-talkie that was dropped by one of the children. Thinking that no one would need it, he immediately throws it into the trash. The scene then shifts to the long-haired man who is causing unease among the passengers because he is drunk on alcohol inside the plane. Zhang, who is sitting next to him, tries to warn him politely. A flight attendant reports the situation to the captain, and the pilot then instructs his assistant to check on the situation and to call the air marshal. The two of them arrive at the scene and try to warn the long-haired man, but...
你先冷静一下，我是这里的工。
It turns out that the two of them are working together to hijack the plane. Not only that, the pilot is also rendered helpless by the trainee pilot, who is part of their group as well. After that, Zhang takes Li's phone to call Li's wife, Mei, and demands a ransom of $500 million if she wants her husband to survive.
为这次航线扩张准备的5亿美金，不就在账上吗？
Not wanting to deal with it herself, Mei tells Kusoi to call the police. After the police arrive, they install a wiretapping device on Mei's phone. Back on the plane, Zhang is seen dragging Li along and demanding the password to his bank account. Li refuses to comply, so Zhang shoots one of the passengers to prove that he is not bluffing. Because of Li's arrogance, the passengers are forced to become victims of Zhang's brutality. Witnessing the horrifying scene, Li reluctantly gives up his bank account password. With the password in his hands, Zhang orders Mei to transfer the company's money within 30 minutes. After that, the long-haired man and his accomplices enter the cargo hold to retrieve the weapons hidden there. They then immediately distribute those weapons to their gang members who are hiding among the passengers. Not long after that, something strange happens when the fake pilot shuts down the Wi-Fi and cuts off the flight radar network. Sensing that something is wrong, Kim immediately approaches a flight attendant to check the phone network. Sure enough, after checking, they discover that all means of communication have been lost. Kim asks to be escorted to the cargo hold, and sure enough, there they find a fake flight attendant standing guard. Thinking quickly, Kim retrieves the walkie-talkie he had thrown into the trash earlier. He tries to contact someone through it, and fortunately, Cece responds. Interestingly, neither of them realizes who the other person really is. Kim says, "You don't need to speak if you're in danger, just tap this device once." The next question, are the first-class passengers really being held hostage? If yes, tap once. If not, tap twice. Knowing this, Kim decides to cut off the communication for the moment in order to plan something. Here, we are shown that the true mastermind behind all of this is Kusai, who is none other than a manager at the company itself. He conspires with Zhang to obtain the money. Kim doesn't want to waste any time, so he approaches the fake flight attendant and a scuffle breaks out. After subduing the woman, he takes her walkie-talkie, and Kim is shocked to discover several parachutes hidden away. It turns out that the contents of the bag carried by Zhang are parachutes meant for their escape. After that, Kim begins to incapacitate several of them. Cleverly, Kim orders the flight attendant to go to the passenger cabin while he himself steps out into the aircraft corridor, carrying a parachute as a decoy to conceal himself. Growing suspicious over the deaths of his men, Zhang orders the long-haired man to take all the passengers hostage. Not long after that, Kusoi tells Zhang to stop killing the passengers because the money has already been successfully transferred. He orders Zhang to get off immediately. Unexpectedly, Zhang disobeys his command, causing Kusoi to grow suspicious of Zhang's behavior. At that moment, Cece secretly contacts Kim and informs him that they are looking for him. Upon learning this, Kim contacts Zhang and begins to threaten him, saying he will destroy one parachute for every passenger's life taken. You may get the money, but you won't be able to get off. Kim says.
我是为钱。
Zhang asks why Kim is doing all of this. The reason is clearly his family, but Kim chooses to remain silent and does not answer. This enrages Zhang, who then injures one of the passengers. Ignoring Zhang, Kim comes down from the corridor and fights one of the hijackers, successfully incapacitating him. Kim then resumes communication with Cece. At that moment, Kim realizes that the voice on the other end is his daughter's. He finally tells her that he is her father and promises that he will not let anything happen to her. Tears immediately stream down Cece's face as she realizes she has been wrong all this time for hating her own father. A fight breaks out when Kim encounters an enemy approaching him. Kim becomes even more brutal when the enemy destroys his communication device. The situation becomes even more unfavorable for Kim when Zhang finds a photo of Kim and Amoy, prompting him to order Kim to come out immediately if he doesn't want his family to be harmed. At that moment, Kim is busy tampering with the aircraft's electrical system using a bottle of water and chooses to ignore the threat. Enraged, Zhang orders his men to rape Amoy. However, at the critical moment, Kim manages to save his wife. Cunningly, Zhang takes Cece and uses her as a hostage. Not wanting to give in, Kim threatens to destroy their parachutes. Calmly, Kim tries to stall for time, but unexpectedly, Cece takes an unforeseen action. A shootout breaks out there and accidentally hits the water bottle, causing an electrical short circuit. Seizing that moment quickly, Kim rescues Cece and his wife. Here, a touching scene unfolds as Cece, who has been deeply longing for her father's affection, does not want to be separated from him again. However, despite his feelings, Kim must carry out his duty as the security officer on the hijacked plane. Lee, as the owner of the aircraft, does not stay idle and immediately heads to the electrical room to contact the emergency control tower and inform them that the hijackers are planning to escape using parachutes. Unfortunately, his actions are discovered by Zhang's men, who immediately shoot him. Fortunately, Kim arrives just in time and manages to take both of them down. Meanwhile, Lee's wife, fed up with the police's performance, lashes out at them for being incompetent and failing to help at all with the situation. It turns out that they are actually fake police officers hired by Zhang. Realizing that something has gone wrong and that everything is spiraling out of his plan, Kusoi quickly goes to the restroom and contacts the real police. Lee, who is the only remaining hope, is secured by Kim and instructed to take over as the co-pilot. On the other side, Zhang begins threatening the passengers to hand over Kim. Unfortunately, one of the passengers reveals Kim's location, causing another shootout to break out. Kim, who has been shot, manages to hide once again. To carry out his plan, Zhang orders the fake police officers to take care of Kusoi. Fortunately, the real police arrive just in time and arrest them all. Back on the plane, Lee finally manages to subdue the fake pilot and successfully takes control of the aircraft. Misfortune strikes Cece and her mother when they are found by the long-haired man and dragged before Zhang. Cruelly, Zhang shoots Amoy in the leg to force Kim out of hiding. Reluctantly, Kim reveals himself and discloses the location of the parachutes he had hidden. After they obtain the parachutes, Zhang forcibly opens the plane door. However, he makes a fatal mistake as the plane hits turbulence, sending him flying and causing him to lose his gun. The impatient, long-haired man jumps recklessly from the plane. The situation becomes even more tense when Cece is thrown out of the aircraft. Fortunately, she manages to grab onto a parachute cord that got caught. Kim, using all his strength, tries to pull the cord, but unfortunately Zhang keeps hitting him, causing them to be dragged out as well. Like in typical action movies, they are dangling outside the plane. Fortunately, Cece is rescued by a flight attendant who is surprisingly skilled at skydiving. Fed up with Zhang's behavior, Kim swiftly wraps a rope around Zhang's neck, and Zhang dies instantly. The problem isn't over yet, because how can the plane land with an engine on fire? Lee also reports to the police that the plane's front landing gear is malfunctioning, making a safe landing impossible without it. Lee asks Kim for help to lower the front gear manually, but unfortunately his efforts fail and achieve no results. Meanwhile, the police and national security forces join forces to find a solution. Then, an idea emerges to land the plane with the help of 2 trucks that will support its front landing gear. After Lee agrees to the plan, he asks Kim to stay below to help guide the plane precisely over the trucks. Half of the highway is cleared. The police are all in position, ready. The landing is about to begin. Passengers are instructed to brace themselves for the massive impact they are about to experience. The plane begins to descend while the 2 trucks start matching its speed to balance it. Meanwhile, Kim keeps instructing Lee to stabilize the plane's velocity. Let's go! Tension rises as the plane's wheels begin touching the asphalt, and the 2 truck drivers struggle to support the heavy weight of the aircraft. On the other side, Lee exerts his last bit of strength to pull the brake lever, trying to bring the plane to a stop. Finally, the plane manages to land safely without a single passenger injured. Unfortunately, Lee dies on the spot due to massive blood loss. After everything is over, Kusoi is arrested for being part of the criminal gang, and the film ends with a heartfelt embrace between a child and her long-awaited father. And the film comes to an end.